Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 4 o'clock news on the street 919 FM and online Facebook and YouTube. In the headlines, the Downtown Owners and Merchants Association laments runaway crime in TNT. The Trinidad and Tobago Chamber wants swift and decisive action to deal with criminal attacks on the business people. The Chaguanas Chamber demands firearm licenses for business owners, and internationally families face debt squeeze as prices keep rising. And now the news in detail. The Downtown Owners and Merchants Association says Trinidad and Tobago is in the midst of a national crime emergency. The association, headed by businessman Gregory Aboud, made the statement in a news release yesterday. Aboud said the association condemns the stunning silence from major stakeholders in society. Doma said citizens are facing the grim reality that is TNT where crime is concerned, and noted that it is an obligation for those in leadership positions in the public and private sectors to recognize crime has become an emergency. Doma said law-abiding citizens are being trampled upon in broad daylight, and noted that the lawless behavior in the current society is being nourished by a perceived lack of consequence. Meanwhile, the Chaguanas Chamber of Industry and Commerce says the government needs to restart issuing firearm users licenses to the business community. Head of the Commerce, Richie Sukai, says several communities in central Trinidad have recently seen an upsurge of criminal activity, especially among the business community in areas such as Montrose, Enterprise, Londonville, and Endeavour. Sukai says a lack of funding to the police has stifled their operations to protect and serve, thereby leaving the country vulnerable to criminals. He is asking the government to restart the issuing process of firearm users licenses so business owners can be equipped to protect themselves. The Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce condemns the recent killing of a businessman in central Trinidad and is calling for urgent action on crime in TNT. In a release, the chamber says the shooting of Chaguanas businessman Darrell Dindial last Thursday is a tragedy and unfortunately follows a pattern of increasing attacks upon business people. The chamber says the brazen and brutal nature of so many of the crimes in TNT is disrupting the peace and productivity of our society. The chamber strongly appeals to lawmakers and those governing our country to set aside partisan positions and to implement legislation and policies that will protect citizens. The chamber says it stands ready to collaborate with the government in the interest of urgent action. Internationally, a resurgence in cases of people unable to cover their debt repayments is expected, a charity has warned, as the cost of living hits family budgets. According to the UK charity, debt advisors are urging people who are struggling with existing debts to come to fresh arrangements on how much to repay each month. The World Bank has stated that prices are rising at the fastest rate for 30 years, creating fresh strain on people's finances. And that was the 4 o'clock news on the street, 919 FM. Miss Aisha was the Queen of Talk. She's up next.
From the street. News from the street. 919fm.com.
Hey. Okay. Let's go.